In a quiet little village surrounded by green fields and gentle winds lived a girl named Ayra. She was known for her soft voice, shy smile, and a heart that carried more worries than dreams. Life had not been kind to her. After losing her mother at a young age, Ayra lived with her father, who worked day and night but barely earned enough to provide for them. Their home was simple, their meals were humble, and their days passed mostly in silence. Ayra went to school every morning, but her mind was never fully there. She struggled with her studies and found it difficult to make friends. Every time she made a mistake, she felt smaller, like the world was whispering that she would never be good enough. She wanted to be strong, but the weight of sadness always pulled her down. One afternoon, after a particularly hard day at school, Ayra walked home with tears blurring her vision. Her teacher had scolded her for not understanding a lesson, and her classmates had laughed when she couldn't answer a simple question. She felt broken, as if she had failed again, not just in school, but in life. She didn't know how to fix herself, or where to find courage. She went behind her house to her favorite old tree, a place where she often hid to cry. As she sat there hugging her knees, she noticed something unusual. A tiny butterfly, delicate and glowing in the sunlight, landed gently beside her. Its wings were a beautiful blend of blue and gold, shimmering like hope dressed in light. Ayra watched it closely. The butterfly seemed fragile, yet it moved with such grace, as though nothing in the world could weigh it down. It fluttered around her, circling her head, touching her fingers, and settling on her shoulder for a moment before flying up again. A small smile appeared on Ayra's face, something she hadn't felt for days. The butterfly almost looked as if it was trying to talk to her, to comfort her, to remind her that she wasn't alone. The next morning, Ayra returned to the tree, hoping to see the butterfly again. And there it was, waiting as though the universe had sent it just for her. She followed it across the fields, laughing for the first time in months. The butterfly flew lightly, guiding her to places she had never noticed before, a stream that sparkled with sunlight, flowers blooming quietly, and a patch of grass so soft it felt like a blanket of peace. Every day after that, Ayra spent time with the butterfly. She began talking to it, telling it everything she couldn't tell anyone else, her fears, her struggles, her loneliness. And though the butterfly never spoke, its presence became a gentle reminder that there was still beauty left in the world, and still some hope inside her. Over the weeks, Ayra's heart slowly began to heal. Her sadness didn't feel so heavy anymore. She studied a little harder, smiled a little more, and even started helping her father with his work. The villagers noticed the change in her. They had never seen her so alive, so full of light. But then came a stormy evening. The winds were fierce, the sky dark and angry. Ayra worried for her tiny friend. The next morning, as soon as the rain stopped, she rushed outside to the tree. She searched the branches, the leaves, the ground, everywhere. But the butterfly was nowhere to be found. Her heart trembled. She looked for days, wandering farther than she ever had before, calling out softly as if the butterfly could hear her. But it was gone. One evening, exhausted and heartbroken, she sat under the old tree again. The silence wrapped around her like a cold blanket. She closed her eyes and whispered, "Why did you leave me? I still need you." As she opened her eyes, a gentle breeze brushed her cheek. In that moment, she remembered something, how the butterfly never stayed still for long, how it always moved forward, always rising, always exploring. Maybe it wasn't gone. Maybe it had simply flown where it was meant to go. And maybe, just maybe, Ayra didn't need it the same way anymore. She put her hand over her heart and realized something powerful. All those days she had followed the butterfly, it wasn't giving her hope, it was awakening the hope she already had inside. The courage she thought she lacked was actually growing quietly, just waiting to be discovered. The next morning at school, Ayra raised her hand for the first time. Her voice trembled a little, but it was steady enough to answer the question correctly. Her teacher smiled warmly, and her classmates looked at her with new respect. She felt proud, not because she was perfect, but because she tried. Days passed, then months. Ayra bloomed like a flower touched by sunlight. She worked hard, studied with determination, and slowly became one of the brightest students in her class. Her father noticed her strength and started smiling again too, finding comfort in the light she brought back into their home. Every once in a while, Ayra visited the old tree. She would sit quietly and close her eyes, imagining the gentle flutter of wings and the warmth it once brought her. She knew she might never see the butterfly again, but she no longer felt sad. Instead, she felt grateful. The butterfly had been a messenger, a reminder that even the smallest moments, the quietest comforts, can breathe life into a tired soul. It taught her that hope doesn't come from outside, it grows from within. And whenever life became difficult again, Ayra would whisper to herself, if a tiny butterfly could survive the wind, then so can I. The villagers eventually gave her a nickname, the Butterfly Girl. And Ayra carried that name with pride, knowing that she had become stronger than her fears, kinder than her pain, and braver than the world had ever expected. Years later, she would tell her own children about the little butterfly that once changed her life. About how it taught her to rise, to believe, and to keep moving forward, even when the sky grows dark. Because hope, like a butterfly, may be small and delicate, but it has the power to lift a person higher than they ever thought they could fly.